Milwaukee, Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Milwaukee Bucks, and Kawhi Leonard, cool, calm, and collected for the Toronto Raptors. And the team with the most wins will take on the team with the overall best record in the NBA right here on NBA TV in just over 30 minutes. Welcome to the Auto Trader pregame show. Chris Miles here with Brendan Haywood, David Griffin. Griff, when you see this graphic we have coming up, don't get too excited, all right? Because as our resident GM, we know when you put together a roster, you love to see advanced stats like the ones you're looking at right here. Milwaukee Bucks taking leaps in offensive rating, defensive rating, overall net rating. Griff, how much credit goes to roster construction, your area of expertise, or elite coaching, Mike Budenholzer?
Well, I think it's both, and that's what makes this team so dangerous. Mike is exactly the right fit. You know, we've called it the buttification of the Milwaukee Bucks. He's exactly the right fit for their personnel. The acquisition John Horst made of Brook Lopez to open the floor up for Giannis has been absolutely critical. They actually doubled down on that idea when they brought in George Hill and added Jason Smith as well as part of that. They wanted to be able to always keep a floor spacing 5 on the floor. The George Hill acquisition giving them another defensive guard, somebody else that can make shots spacing off of Giannis. They've gone all in on building this team in the vision Mike Budenholzer had for it, and they're doing everything that Atlanta did stylistically when Bud was there. They just have enough talent now to do it at a level very few teams have ever reached.
This is what happens when you have a front office and a head coach on the exact same page. The front office goes out there and gets the perfect players for this coach's system. They work in unison, and guess what? You look out on the court, and it's a beautiful product. In Atlanta, you're right, Coach Bud tried to do the exact same things, and it worked to a certain degree. He had a 60-win season. He had the pieces, and they looked very good. The problem was, and not really the problem, what makes this situation different is that he now actually has an elite player on his team running this system. In Atlanta, you had Al Horford, you had Millsap. Those guys were great players, but they couldn't get you over the hump against a guy like LeBron. Now you're seeing this system run with somebody like Greek Freak, who's arguably one of the top 5 players in the league, and looks a lot different just because he offers a different dynamic.
Jeff Teague, Kyle Korver, also all-stars on that team. As you mentioned, it was a squad that was very deep here in Atlanta, but the Raptors, on the other side, 6-4 without Kyle Lowry this season. He's out again tonight. Brendan, when you look at who they are, and you know how good Kawhi Leonard has been, how much of a step back do they take when Kyle Lowry is out, especially in a game like this against the Milwaukee Bucks and against elite teams like this?
Well, I think when you lose Kyle Lowry, you lose a lot of things. You lose some defensive intensity. You lose a lot of leadership. You lose his vision. This year he's averaging a career high for him, 10 assists. So you lose a lot of different things in that aspect, his competitiveness. And not only that, when Kyle Lowry isn't playing, it hurts your depth. I think Van Vliet is one of the top subs in the game at the point guard position. But now when he's forced to start, it forces you to get a little bit deeper into your bench. You're not quite as deep. And that all has a cumulative effect on your team and how you're playing. So Toronto is a very good team, but they're definitely much better with Kyle Lowry.
They're 5-5 in their last 10. All 5 of the losses have come on the road. I think where you really notice Kyle's absence is on the defensive side of the ball. In that span, they're giving up 112.9 points per 100 possessions. It's very uncharacteristic of that Raptors team, and it's because of what they lose on the defensive side of the ball with Kyle at the point of attack. It's a really big loss for him, or for them rather, what they lose on the defensive side.
When you look at what Kawhi Leonard's doing offensively, first time in his career where he's had 15 consecutive games scoring over 20 points, how much of that is the symbiotic relationship he now has with Pascal Siakam? Because those two seem to be working perfectly well.
I think that has a lot to do with it. I also think that one of the reasons he was playing at such a high level from the very beginning is that this is a 59-win team who was built to win basketball games, and you added a Kawhi Leonard who's a #1 on a championship caliber team. You add Danny Green, who's a championship caliber, championship winning role player. All of the pieces fit. You know, we said it about Milwaukee, and Toronto was very similar in this way. And again, when Kyle Lowry plays, they're just so much better defensively. That gets them out in transition. Siakam pushing tempo for them, and Leonard benefiting from that.
I love Kawhi Leonard for this team, and The one thing is everybody's like, wow, Kawhi has made them so much better. In the regular season, that is actually not true. They're at the same winning pace they were on last year when they had DeMar DeRozan. I think Kawhi offers this team a different level of hope when you get into the playoffs right now, because the team will be a little bit more confident. First of all, LeBron James is no longer there. And second of all, you have Kawhi, who is regarded as one of the top players in the league, also a great two-way guy who offers you a little bit more versatility than DeMar. But right now, the team is playing well. But I can't say that because Kawhi is here, they're markedly better in the regular season, because that's actually not true.
And we got to give a lot of credit to Nick Nurse stepping in his first year as head coach for the Toronto Raptors with so many injuries that he's dealt with. Jonas Valanciunas, Kyle Lowry, and, of course, Kawhi Leonard sitting out the second night of back-to-backs a lot this year. They've done a good job. Most wins so far this season in the NBA. The Toronto Raptors. Big game tonight coming up at 8:30 between the Bucks and the Raptors. Kawhi Leonard is scoring at the best pace of his career. Will he keep it up tonight?